Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into the source material on a phone that's really aiming high for 2025. We're talking about the Xiaomi 15T.
Yeah, and the T-Series always comes with that expectation, doesn't it? Delivering serious value. So our mission today is basically to comb through this data and see if this 15T actually pulls it off. Is the whole experience more than just, a list of specs?
Exactly, because value is key here.
Yeah.
The sources are positioning this as like a top contender in its price range. We're looking at roughly $560 USD, maybe 27,000 Egyptian pounds for the top model.
Okay, so at that price, yeah, every single feature needs to justify itself. Let's start with the feel of it, the design.
Right, what are they going for?
Well, it looks like a mix of sort of modern premium, but also practical. The specs say 7.5 millimeters thick, 194 grams. Sounds pretty comfortable, like you could hold it for a while.
And the materials, I saw something interesting about the back, not glass.
Yeah, exactly. They're using something called a glass fiber back, which is, well, it's a choice.
What's the thinking there? Just toughness.
It's partly toughness, sure. They say it resists cracks and bending better. But I think it's also about the feel, making a mid-range phone feel more substantial, more premium than just plastic or even standard glass sometimes. Changes how it feels in the hand.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And for protection, what are we looking at?
Pretty standard high-end stuff, actually. Corning Gorilla Glass 7i on the front, supposed to be way better against scratches. And it's got an IP68 rating.
IP68. So dust and water resistant.
Yeah, dust tight and can handle being dunked in fresh water for a bit. The usual disclaimer, some reviewers mentioned they wished it was IP69, but IP68 is still solid for this price.
All right, so it feels good, it's pretty tough. Let's talk about that screen. It looks huge in the pictures.
It is, 6.83 inches. Apparently the biggest AMOLED they've ever put in a T-Series phone. And the bezels look really slim, so it should feel, really immersive.
And the specs on the display itself. Sharpness, smoothness.
Looks top-notch. It's a 1.5K resolution, which gives it a pixel density of 447 ppi. Very sharp. Then you've got the 120 hertz refresh rate for smoothness, and crucially for gamers, a really fast 480 hertz touch sampling rate.
Okay, 480 hertz touch sampling, that means super responsive controls in games, right? Like zero delay.
Pretty much instantaneous, yeah. And brightness. It apparently hits 3,200 nits peak brightness.
Oh, 3,200 nits. So perfectly visible even in bright sunlight. HDR10 plus Dolby Vision support too.
Yep, got those as well. But honestly, the thing that really jumped out at me from the sources was the focus on eye comfort.
Ah, yes, the TUV Rhineland certifications. I saw that mentioned. What's the key takeaway there? Is it just filtering blue light?
It's a whole suite of things. Low blue light, flicker-free. But the really interesting one is the 300, 840 hertz PWM dimming.
Okay, break that down. Why is that number, 300 and 840 hertz, so important?
Well, PWM dimming is how the screen adjusts brightness, especially in low light, by flickering really fast. A higher frequency means the flickering is basically imperceptible to the human eye. 300 and 840 hertz is incredibly high. So if you use your phone a lot at night, this should dramatically reduce eye strain and fatigue. It's a big deal for comfort.
That's a really thoughtful feature. And they even threw in something called circadian-friendly certification.
Yeah, the idea is to minimize how much the screen messes with your sleep schedule if you're using it late at night. It's all part of that extreme eye comfort angle they seem to be pushing. Plus, you get dual stereo speakers, Dolby Atmos, high-res audio. The whole media package seems strong.
Okay, so the look, feel, display. All sounds impressive.
Yeah.
But does it have the engine to power all this? Let's talk performance.
Right. Under the hood, we've got the MediaTek Dimensity 8400 Ultra. It's a 4-nanometer chip.
Dimensity 8400 Ultra. How does that stack up? People know Snapdragon, but Dimensity chips are getting really good. What does the source material say about its power versus, say, efficiency?
Well, the 4-millimeter process is key for efficiency. Less power draw, less heat. That's the big advantage. It might not top every single benchmark chart against the absolute highest-end Snapdragon, maybe, but its primary core runs up to 3.25 gigahertz, and it's got a Mali G720 GPU. The sources suggest it handles heavy tasks like gaming at high settings or even 4K video editing really well. Its strength seems to be that balance of power and efficiency.
And it's not just the chip, right? The memory and storage have to keep up.
Absolutely. And they haven't skimped here. It's using LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.1 storage. Those are basically the fastest standards you can get right now.
So what does that mean for the user, like day to day?
It means things should just fly. Apps loading instantly, big files transferring quickly, smooth multitasking, no waiting around, and the configurations look good too. 12 gigs of RAM paired with either 256 or 512 gigs of storage. Plenty of space.
Okay, but raw power is one thing. Sustained power is another. Phones get hot, then they slow down. Thermal throttling. How does the 15T handle heat?
Ah, yes. The cooling system. This seems to be another area where they've invested properly. They call it the Xiaomi 3D Ice Loop system.
Sounds fancy. What does it actually do?
It's apparently a more sophisticated system than just a simple heat pipe. It's designed specifically to pull heat away from the processor, obviously, but also from the areas where your hands actually touch the phone during intense use, like gaming.
Oh, that's smart. So the idea is you can game for an hour straight without the phone getting uncomfortably hot or crucially slowing down.
Exactly. It's designed to prevent that thermal throttling so you maintain peak performance for longer. That's a big deal for reliability, especially in a phone that isn't, the absolute most expensive flagship.
Okay, this is where things get maybe even more interesting for me. The software. It's launching with HyperOS 3, one of the first phones globally.
Yeah, HyperOS 3. It's Xiaomi's big push for a unified system across all their devices. Phones, tablets, wearables, everything. Visually, it's supposed to be cleaner, more fluid, redesigned icons, widgets, lock screen, the whole deal.
But the real story seems to be the AI integration, right? Hyper AI, powered by that dedicated NPU, the 880.
Precisely. That's the core intelligence layer. It's not just about looks. It's about how the phone works.
So how does Hyper AI actually make a difference for me, the user? Does it feel noticeably smarter than just like regular Android?
The sources suggest it does, in a few key ways. First, there's adaptive learning. The AI watches how you use your phone, what apps you open often, when you're most active, and it tries to anticipate your needs.
Anticipate how? Like preloading apps.
Kind of, yeah. It pre-tunes the memory and processor, getting things ready before you even tap the icon. The claim is significantly faster app launch times, sometimes almost zero delay for your frequently used app.
Okay, that could actually feel like a real speed boost in daily use.
And it ties into battery life, too, through smart power management. The AI is constantly adjusting how much power the CPU uses. If you're just reading text, it sips power. Fire up a demanding game, and it gives the processor everything it needs from that big 5500 mAh battery. It's dynamic, trying to maximize endurance.
That makes sense. Squeezing the most out of the battery. What about multitasking? That's always been a bit of an Android weakness sometimes.
Hyper AI is supposed to tackle that with enhanced multitasking. It intelligently manages the RAM to keep more apps properly active in the background. So switching between, say, your browser with lots of tabs, a game, and the camera app should be smoother without apps constantly needing to reload from scratch.
So the OS and the AI hardware working tightly together. That sounds like the secret sauce here.
It really seems to be positioned as the defining feature, the
Okay.
deep integration.
Okay, let's shift gears to the cameras. The Leica partnership. Big name, obviously. But sometimes these collaborations are just, a logo slapped on the back. Do the sources suggest Leica's involvement here is actually meaningful in terms of image quality, color, that kind of thing?
The consensus seems to be, yes, it's a genuine collaboration, especially impacting the color science and processing the Leica Vario Similux system. The main camera itself sounds strong on paper, 50 megapixels, f1.7 aperture, OIS, and this Light Fusion 800 sensor, which uses pixel binning for better low-light shots, solid hardware foundation.
And it's a triple camera setup, right? What are the other lenses?
There's a 50 megapixel telephoto lens. Importantly, it offers a proper 2x optical zoom equivalent to about 46 millimeter. And it can do up to 60x digital zoom, though, quality degrades there.
Okay, 50 MP main, 50 MP telephoto.
Yeah.
What's the third one?
Here's where we hit the main criticism noted in the sources. The third lens is the ultra-wide, and it's only 12 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture.
Only 12 megapixels. That does seem a bit mismatched compared to the other two 50 MP sensors. Why do you think they did that?
It feels like a cost-saving measure, probably. A strategic compromise. They focus the budget and the Leica magic on the main, and telephoto the cameras people likely use most often, ensuring those are excellent, while the ultra-wide is just adequate. Good enough for landscapes maybe, but not pro-level like the others potentially are.
Makes sense from a value perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
What about the software features? The Leica modes?
Yeah, there are some specific modes. Video looks quite capable. It does 4K at both 30 and 60 frames per second with HDR10 plus woods. But the really pro-level feature is that it supports 4K 60pps recording in 10-bit color depth with LUT support.
Okay, tempt it with LUTs, that's serious. That's aimed squarely at people doing professional color grading and post-production, right?
Exactly. It gives editors much more flexibility with the colors. That's a feature you don't often see outside of high-end flagships or dedicated cameras. Even the front camera is decent, 32 megapixels, wide field of view, and does 4K video at 30 fps.
All right, let's wrap up the hardware side with connectivity and the battery situation. Any surprises there?
Connectivity looks very modern, full 5G support, naturally. Flexible SIM options, you can do dual physical SIMs, one physical plus an eSIM, or even dual eSIMs. Wi-Fi 6E is on board. And interestingly, the Bluetooth version listed is 6.0.
Bluetooth 6.0, I haven't heard much about that standard yet. What's the benefit?
The main promises are usually improved stability, maybe higher bandwidth, and significantly lower power consumption for connected devices like earbuds or smartwatches. So, potentially better battery life for your accessories. And NFC is there too, market dependent as always.
Okay, standard stuff mostly. But there was one communication feature that sounded kind of sci-fi. Xiaomi Astral Communication.
Ah, yes, that's the really unique one. It's their proprietary system called Xiaomi Offline Communication.
Offline communication, what does that mean?
It means this phone can apparently make direct voice calls to another Xiaomi 15T device up to 1.3 kilometers away without needing any mobile network signal, no Wi-Fi, nothing, just device to device.
Wait, really? 1.3 kilometers, like a walkie-talkie built in, but for proper calls.
Essentially, yeah. Think about remote areas, hiking, emergencies where cell service is down. Being able to directly call another nearby 15T could be incredibly useful, maybe even life-saving.
Wow, that's not just a spec. That's a genuinely practical, potentially game-changing feature for certain situations. I can absolutely see the appeal there. Huge differentiator.
It really is. It moves beyond just faster processors or brighter screens into offering something genuinely different.
Okay, so finally, the battery itself and charging. What are we looking at?
Battery capacity is very generous, 5,500 milliamp. That's a big cell. And the charging speed is listed as 67 watts.
67 watts. How fast is that in real terms? Full charge time.
The claim is a full 0 to 100% charge in just 35 minutes, which is impressively fast. They also mentioned 9 temperature sensors in the charging system for safety.
35 minutes for a full charge is great. There's always a but, isn't there? What's the catch?
A catch, and it's noted as a key drawback in the sources, is no wireless charging.
Okay. So super fast wired charging, but if you've gotten used to just dropping your phone on a wireless pad, you're out of luck here.
Exactly. It's a clear trade-off they made. Prioritize the wired speed and maybe save some cost and internal space, but omit the wireless convenience.
Right. So let's try and pull this all together. The Xiaomi 15T seems laser-focused on the user experience, doesn't it? You've got that super high-frequency PWM dimming for genuinely better eye comfort, the Hyper AI system managing everything for speed and efficiency, that really unique 1.3-kilometer offline communication. It feels very deliberate.
I think that's a good summary. My final take, based on this material, is that, yeah, it seems to successfully continue that T-Series legacy. It blends a premium-feeling design, genuinely strong and sustained performance thanks to that cooling system, and some real pro-grade camera capabilities via the Leica partnership, all at what seems like a very competitive price.
And the compromises.
They seem calculated, the slightly weaker ultra-wide camera, the lack of wireless charging. These are noticeable omissions, sure. But they seem offset by the overall stability, the smart software features from Hyper AI, and those standout hardware points like the display and the offline comms. It makes a very strong case for itself as a value flagship.
Which leads us perfectly into our final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. We've talked a lot about Hyper AI and the MPU 880 optimizing performance and battery life by learning your habits. So here's the question. If these dedicated integrated AI systems can make a phone feel faster and last longer by being smarter, does obsessing over raw CPU benchmark scores become less important? Is the future really about deep OS and AI integration, rather than just chasing the highest possible gigahertz number?
It definitely makes you think about what performance truly means in a smartphone going forward. Is it raw power or is it intelligent optimization? Something to consider.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll catch you on the next one.